I have a question for you, Mark. So you've become kind of a celebrity in the metalworking industry. You know, we're kind of a tight niche industry, and you know, it's not like, you know, we're making like big movies that millions of people are watching, but you've kind of a bit of a celebrity. So what's the story in a small world? Yeah, you're a big fish in a little pond. So what's the story behind that? Like, I know you probably didn't think as an application engineer that you were going to have so many people watching your video. So what's the story behind that?
It's funny in that I'm really a small part of that story, in that I got called in to help with, because HAAS has been making videos forever, right? They just have. Back in 2013, they made a lathe soft jaw video that now has 1.5 million views. So they've been making videos for a very long time. And they had me help with a coolant video, and I think it's the only video where I don't have a beard. And they just had me shoot it. And then the next week they had me shoot something else. And then Bob Murray, the general manager here at HAAS, he got us all together and sat us down and said, we're going to do a series, and we're going to call it Tip of the Day. And yeah, we're going to start with you, and let's do it. It was just like that.
Do you think that it would, because manufacturing is slow to get on the technological thing, that it just, we got lucky because we started this media frenzy at the beginning. We were at the crust of it, right? Sure. Don't you think that's part of it as well?
Huge part, right? We were early adopters.
Early adopters, that's
and so we're riding that swell. And of course, it's HAAS Automation. So HAAS Automation, just with the number of machines that they sell day in and day out, has a built-in audience. We have an advantage that no one else has. And we have a lot of new operators that are hungry for information. And so you put those two things together, and they're just eating it up. Everything we publish, you're getting a comment on saying thank you for listening to us and for feeding us this information that we need. We need it to do our jobs. Yeah.
So you didn't have to audition for this role or anything like that?
You stepped in. You stepped in because you were doing something on coolant, right?
Yeah. They had me do something, and they were already having a series on that, so that might have been their interview process.
Let's face it, when you get in front of the camera,
right,
things change, right? You can be the greatest speaker in the world and comfortable, and as soon as that light turns on, people freeze up.
Right.
And
yes,
we've tried it. We've tried a bunch of people that we thought, oh, they're going to be great on camera. Mark has a knack for it. Mark knows the technical part of it, but he also has a knack for being on camera.
Did you think at the time that, well, there's a new generation coming up that doesn't want to read a manual, they want to watch a video? Did that thought, or was that? Yeah.
That was
at the forefront. Yeah, it was absolutely in that first meeting. We were talking about this,
yep.
Brian. We sat down, and Bob's sitting down there. It would be great to have Bob's side of the story. But as we remember it, he was talking about his son playing video games, and he would say, look, my son doesn't read a manual on how to play the video game. He watches a YouTube video that says, go in the desert, you'll find a refrigerator. Yeah.
Yeah.
He opens up a refrigerator, you go inside, you find all the goodies. And so that's what his son does. He saw his son watching hour after hour of YouTube videos. And you were talking about his truck. He was looking for something.
He had a flat tire. So he I don't remember what his truck was. He pulls over the side of the road and he can't find the spare tire. Where's the spare tire?
So he pulled up the manual.
He pulls his phone up and Googles it. Where is the spare tire in my Ford whatever?
What, F-150 or
There's
something?
a video.
YouTube comes up. So what I struggle with is how much production value do we put into them, right? It's interesting.
There's a lot of differing views on that.
There's a lot of differing views. We don't want to make them too polished, right? They don't need to be too produced, but at the same time, and I think it's subconscious. People are watching them, and if they look good and they sound good and they're lit good, they're going to watch more. They don't know why. It just looks good. But like I said, at the same time, we don't want to be too polished because we know who we are. We're in a machine shop. We're just a bunch of regular guys. I mean, Mark's a machinist. Us other guys on camera are engineers or service guys, so we want it to look real.
Yeah. You've gotten outside of the machine itself a little bit, and that seems to be some of your biggest views. So like, my company, we sell tooling, and one of your highest watched videos is how to choose a drill. Right. Like, I should be making that video, you know what I mean? But it's one of your videos, and it's one of the biggest watched, videos. So like, what was your thought behind that?
We had to, because you didn't make the video.
There you go, you got me. Yeah, there you go.
We shot, our customers need this.
Why did you decide to do how to choose a drill?
Because that's what people need to know. When we talk about our successes, and our failures, we make videos on everything. So we make videos on showing people how to use their probing system to automate. So it'll automatically adjust your tool offs that keep running, right? That's a good video that everybody should watch that wants to make money with their machine tool.
Right.
25,000 views or 50,000 views, whatever. It's got a lot of views, but it's not breaking any records. We make videos on how to set up a vise, and it gets
how to indicate it in.
hundreds of thousands of views.
Right.
Because maybe the shop foreman doesn't have time to show their guy. Now the tooling ones are interesting because I think maybe you can't get all the tooling guys in one room and talk about a subject comprehensively.
You guys are more agnostic.
We're more agnostic. So we did one on, we did one on taps, and then it went off. We just shot one last week on tool holders, which is a very difficult topic because there's a dozen manufacturers out there that all have a different slant on the processes.
Yes.
And we just have to get by that and say, look, the customer wants to know this. So some of our most basic videos on those type of subjects are simply what the machinist in front of the machine needs to know. And because that's what they need to know, those become the most popular videos.
You mentioned that the comments give you ideas for new episodes. Where else do you get ideas from? How do you organize that? Do you guys have just a list of 1,000 topics that you're constantly like refining and prioritizing and stuff like that? How does that work? Do you
Excel spreadsheet where they're always moving around, and any number of things can bring a subject to the top.
Yeah.
It could be an experience that we've had with a customer. It could be a YouTube comment.
Yeah.
It could be something we talked to a customer about at a trade show.
Okay.
Or maybe, throughout, like, say IMTS, for example, over the course of a few days, I keep hearing the same thing, or Mark keeps hearing the same thing.
Yeah, we don't make just the big videos. In other words, we make a lot of the little videos on silly topics that might seem silly, and they might only get 10,000 views. But some of those topics end up on the list because we're speaking directly to a concern that we've gotten through phone calls or emails. We might answer the phone in the applications department, or our applications engineers that we have all over the world at these HFOs, these HAAS factory outlets. These guys get these questions all the time, so we might make a video that just addresses them and that particular issue directly. And we know it's not gonna make us $1 million, right? It's not even good, advertising necessarily, but it's answering a real question for the customer.